The US has struck inside Iran, targeting its nuclear facilities, while US has warned Tehran against any retaliation. Iran has invoked its right to defend itself. Will the strikes force Iran to return to the negotiating table, or will it lead to even bigger conflict? Here's a report.
The United States has joined the war against Iran. US military planes have struck deep inside Iranian territory.
Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
US President Donald Trump claims to have decimated Iran's nuclear facilities and issued a stark warning to Iran: talk peace or face more attacks. But will Iran listen? Hours after the attack, Iran's foreign ministry warned the United States government of very dangerous consequences.
It's irrelevant to ask Iran to return to diplomacy, because we were in the middle of diplomacy. We were in the middle of talks with the United States when Israelis blew it up. And again, we were in the middle of talks and negotiation with Europeans, happened only 2 days ago in Geneva, when this time Americans decided to blow it up.
Meanwhile, commentators on Iranian media claim that every American citizen or military in the region is now a legitimate target. More than 40,000 American service members and civilians, as well as billions of dollars in military equipment, are in West Asia, spread out across bases in Syria, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. Those working in countries closest to Iran, including Iraq and Kuwait, would have only minutes to prepare for an incoming Iranian strike. US bases in Iraq, including Al Asad Air Base and Erbil Air Base, are among the most exposed to Iranian retaliation. Al Dhafra Air Base in the United Arab Emirates and Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar could also be targeted. In March, Iran had warned that it possesses the capability to strike enemy bases anywhere.
If conflict is imposed on us, then without a doubt, the other side will suffer more losses than we will. And in that case, America will have to leave the region. Because all its bases are within our reach. We have access to them, and without hesitation, we will target all of them in the host countries.
Closing the Strait of Hormuz will also have big impact on the economy. The world's most critical oil corridor handles around 20 million barrels of crude oil per day, nearly 1/5 of the global daily consumption. A closure means crippling oil exports from key Gulf producers. Iran's proxies have also condemned the US action. Yemen's Houthi rebels have already condemned the attack as a blatant declaration of war. It has ended its agreement with the United States to halt attacks in the Red Sea. New attacks are expected. If Iran chooses any of these options, the result may well be a long war with alarming consequences. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Dr. Volker Stanzel is a former German ambassador to China, senior distinguished fellow at SWP, German Institute for International and Security Affairs, and now joining us live from Berlin, Germany. Dr. Stanzel, good to see you, and thank you very much for making time for us. There is a lot of speculation on what Iran will do or is expected to do. Iran says that the road and path to diplomacy was blown up by Israel and the United States. But the Vice President of the United States says that the United States is not at war with Iran, it's at war with their nuclear programs.
Yes, indeed, that's Mr. Vance's explanation of what has been done. But of course, if you look at the problem in purely legal terms, military attacks are permitted under international law if your own country is threatened by an imminent attack. That kind of threat did not exist in this case. And the fact that the negotiations did not continue are not sufficient explanation for feeling that you're being attacked and that you have to counterattack. So this, I think, is a problem that will occupy legal experts for a long, long time to come. What we have to look at, I think, is the situation on the ground. And this is pretty bleak. And the picture is dimmed by the fact that your report has just pointed out that there are a number of important American bases in the region, and also oil facilities of countries which are not Iran's friend, but are on good terms with the United States, so that it would make tactical sense, if not military, for Iran to attack those facilities. However, Iran is well aware that despite the ongoing attacks from Israel since a long time already, it has never proved its own ability to counter those attacks. So if it attacks the United States, the way the United States would retaliate would be much worse than what the Israelis have done. Worse from the point of view of Tehran, of course. So this is something that Iran will have to take into account. And we have no idea where this will be going. Also, if you permit me a minute more, also, of course, we have to take into account the domestic situation in Iran. The major leaders have been killed or have proven unable to deal with the challenge that the United States posed since several weeks now. So the fact that there will be a regime change upon the initiative of opponents of the present leadership in Iran cannot be discounted. And I apologize. And such civil war, maybe, into which might be the result, would be mainly dangerous for Iran, much more than for the United States or for Israel.
Dr. Stanzel, I'll allow you to clear your throat as I ask you this next question. It seems like the U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is trying to pacify the situation. He now says that the United States is not interested in protracted conflicts in the Middle East. He's sort of calming concerns among United States citizens. But should he be believed now?
Well, first of all, he has to calm the sentiments in the United States, because the large majority of the followers of Donald Trump, those who elected him, are completely against any kind of involvement of the United States armed forces abroad outside of America, and of course also in the Middle East. That is what Donald Trump has promised, a promise he has not kept. So he has to find ways to calm his voters and to win their backing for what America will be doing in the future, possibly after Iran is attacking. But the fact that, of course, Donald Trump would prefer to have a solution and an agreement with Iran is quite obvious after having reached their war goal. And this is something that looks almost ironic, because the agreement between Iran and the 6+1 countries under UN supervision in the year 2015, where Iran promised to give up anything that looked like a nuclear arms program and permit IAEA inspectors to enter the country in return for reestablishing economic relations between Western countries, other United Nations countries, and Iran. But Donald Trump was the person who in 2017 declared this agreement null and void. Now I think that would be a resolution to the present problem that he would welcome. That is why I say this is almost ironic what is happening there. But how to get Iran to a negotiating table where Iran can do nothing much but to capitulate? Of course, we all want that Iran needs to gives up its nuclear arms program, but how to make Iran confess that it pursued such a program in the first place, after humiliating the country in the way as it happened now. Okay. So what I think the way out is some more multilateral forum, maybe under United Nations supervision, where the major players and Iran get together, other Arab countries, and try to find a solution for the problems of the region as a whole.
Dr. Volker Stanzel, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you.